we do that. A lot of them do that. The thing, really, the differentiators between the third-party softwares is some of the third-party softwares process the payment and then they remit that back to you. So your patient would actually get charged from a third party. The third party collects the money and then they remit it back to you.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Dental Office Managers Community Podcast, where we talk about the issues that matter most and help us to become better leaders in our dental practice. I'm your host, Kyle Summerford. Let's dive right in. Hey guys, it's Kyle, and welcome back to another episode of the Dental Office Managers Community Podcast. Today we have a special, unique type of podcast, and I want you guys to really, be involved here with, we're going to do kind of like a Q&A question. A lot of you members in our group have been asking about membership plans. And, I see the questions come through the group, and they're all great questions. But I wanted to bring on an expert to really give us some guidance and understanding on how we should be structuring membership plans in the practice. And, Paul from Dental Menu is here with us today. And we're going to run through some questions, and Paul is going to give us his expert advice on what he does with Dental Menu and the ton of practices that are using it. Paul, thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yes. So Paul, we're kind of just gonna jump right into things, and we're gonna take some of these questions from our community members, and then we're just gonna put them out there, and you're gonna give us some of these gems or pearls, I like to call it, to really help us understand how Dental Menu works and how practices should be utilizing membership plans in their practice. So. Um, Question one, you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, all right. All right, so the first question we have from one of our group members is, how do dental membership plans work with insurance?
Yeah, so that's a question we get a lot. The short of it is they don't work great with insurance. If you have even if you're out of network, we get this a lot when you go out of network. So if you're working with patients that are out of network, most of the time their exam cleaning x-rays are still going to be covered. So you wouldn't really have a membership plan that covers exam cleaning x-rays if you're already going to bill insurance. But where offices really ask the specific question is, well, can I sell a membership plan where they get a discount on almost their out-of-pocket portion? Because you go out of network and now the out-of-portion pocket goes up for a patient. And so as a good office manager, you're like, well, I want to help these guys out. How do I get their out-of-pocket down? But you can't submit a fee to the insurance company and then give a discount to the patient portion. That's illegal. So for example, Kyle, you come in, you're out of network, and it's like, well, hey, we're going to bill the insurance exam cleaning x-rays. You have a crown. The crown's $1,500. We're going to submit that fee to the insurance company. They're going to pay $750. So your portion's $750. And if you sign up for our membership plan, you're going to get 20% off that $750. That's a big no-no. You're not allowed to do that. It's insurance fraud because you're essentially submitting a different fee than you're charging. So be careful with that. What we have seen work with insurance in conjunction with insurances is a different style of a membership plan. So for example, if you want to sell a membership plan that covers things that insurance doesn't cover, whitening and maybe a nice toothbrush with toothbrush heads when they come in, maybe some rewards towards treatment, you could give somebody outside of insurance $50 or $100 of rewards when they come in and get their cleaning, and they could use that for their out-of-portion pocket. That would keep you on the right side of the line. So you wouldn't have just a straight up regular membership plan as most people think, but you could structure one a little bit differently to be supplemental. Just make sure you can't submit a different fee to the insurance company than what you're charging the patient. That's the main thing. You got to be careful or you'll get in trouble.
Got it. Okay. But what if a patient has insurance? However, the insurance plan is now maxed out on cleaning benefits. Is it something that you can somehow combine? Like, would that work somehow?
Yeah, I mean, you could sell them a membership plan where they get additional cleanings. That's totally fine.
Okay.
You really just can't charge or submit a claim. You can't double dip, right? So you can't file a claim to the insurance company and get paid from the insurance company and then have the patient also pay you for that same cleaning. So that would, again, that's where you'd get into trouble is, hey, you're on our thing, you're an exam cleaning x-rays, but those are also covered by the insurance company. They're going to cry fraud because it's like, hey, we already paid you $100 for the cleaning and you're also making the patient in essence
Mhm.
pay you for the cleaning. You can't, that's illegal. And
Got it.
so, I mean, it's easier to look at it with treatment where it's like, hey, Kyle, you owe us $1,000 for the insurance or for the crown, you pay me, and then I also file an insurance claim. Again, you just can't double dip. So
Got it.
if it was for an additional cleaning, let's say the insurance only covered two cleanings and they needed a third one, I mean, you could definitely do that. I've just found it's cleaner to do something where they get rewards towards anything that's needed, whether that be a cleaning, whether that be out of pocket stuff, whether it be cosmetics, Botox. I mean, I've got guys that do a whitening only plan and they sell that to all their patients. You pay $10 a month, you come in, you get your trays, you get your whitening gel. You want to add Botox, it's $30 a month. So obviously you can sell that to people that have dental insurance, but just don't double dip.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, perfect. Perfect. Thanks for clearing that up, Paul. Let's move on to the second question. All right. We have here, how do you know what fee to set with a membership plan?
So that's a great question. It's super funny. Most of the time when you ask offices, why are you charging $32 a month, $28 a month? The question is, I don't know. A consultant told me to. That's what the guy down the street is. It sounded good. I don't know. And as again, as an office manager, you're running so many things now. You got a price plan. So we've got a tool. Let me just share my screen here. We usually don't give this tool out, Kyle, but to your group, if somebody wants it, I'd be happy to share it with them. It's part of our onboarding process. Uh, can you see my screen here?
I can see it.
Okay. So the best way to price your plans, you'd never go and network with an insurance company without knowing what you're going to get paid. But that's essentially what people are doing on membership plans. Hey, we're going to accept our own in-house plan, but we don't even know what we're getting paid, and we're just going to kind of guess. It's not a premium, but it's very similar to like we're just going to guess, and you don't want to do that. So what we do with this plan pricing tool, and again, I'm happy to share this, is you look at your UCR fees for exam, X-rays, cleanings, perio maintenance, PAs, whatever you want to include, fluoride. So we like to look at those fees, and then as you're designing a plan, a good thing to do. In fact, I'll come back down on this a little bit is set a reimbursement rate for your included services. So how much would you want to be paid when you do a cleaning? How much would you want to be paid when you do an exam? How much when you do bite wings? Again, you can come in here and add a benefit. You could say, hey, I also want to add fluoride varnish. We're going to add that benefit. So you're basically setting reimbursements up for included services. And you'll notice down here, I'll delete this one so it's even easier to see, the recommended monthly and annual price changes obviously on how much do you want to be paid. So, if you're okay getting paid this much, you can charge $13 a month if you want. And so looking at your insurance payouts and then your UCRs, you can come in here and kind of give the patient a better deal, but you're making some good money here. You're covering your hygiene time. It's going to tell you exactly what to charge. Now that's if a patient comes in right on time for a cleaning, right on time for exams, right on time for bite wings. You could charge this much, what you're going to actually be making. And that's a better way to price your plan. And again, this tool will go through here. If you're doing a child plan, if you're doing a perio plan with perio maintenance, if you want PAs, you can add all this kind of stuff in here, build your plans out. It'll tell you exactly what the benefits are included and what to charge and all that kind of stuff. But it's a way smarter way to look at pricing. Look at profit first. What do you need to make so that it's worthwhile to run the plan? That'll tell you what to charge. Now, if you say, well, I want to make my UCRs, you can, but $44 a month might not be marketable. So you gotta
Mhm.
weigh out, if I'm getting no better deal as a patient when I come in, I'm not buying your plan. You're
Right.
telling me if I commit to your practice and you're my guys, you're not going to give me a better deal. I'll just look at whatever mailer comes through for a $99 special and I'll bounce around for 9 or 12 months. And
Yeah,
so don't make your best patients get the worst deal. If you're a network with PPOs, it's crazy. You're taking a 40% write-off. You're getting jack for the reimbursement. So at least give these guys somewhat of a better deal so that you can compete with your insurances. And then obviously you're only going to write off 15 or 20% on your discount on treatment. So you're making more, but you're still giving them a pretty good deal.
yeah, I agree with that, for sure. So would you, so looking at this, my thoughts are, it says estimated insurance payout. So would you use your maybe highest PPO paying plan as a baseline?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few questions to ask yourself. Are you super busy? You have no openings in hygiene? Maybe you want to be a little bit higher. Are you going to be dropping some insurances? You're going to create some space and you need to fill that hygiene time up. Are you out of network? Are you a straight fee for service practice anyway? So it kind of depends. Like if you're a scratch start and you need patients in the chair, like I mean, you might be pretty aggressive. You might be lower than this because again, you're setting the discount on treatment. Usually you're going to take a 40% write-off on your crowns, fillings, root canals anyways. So if
Sure.
you're only going to give a 15 or 20% off treatment, even if you were very aggressive and you were more where your lowest PPO is paying, you're still going to make more because when they come in, you're only writing 15% off treatment, not 40%. But
Gotcha.
that's a long-winded answer, but you got to look and see if when I talk to offices and they're desperate and they're like, "Hey, we got to get some patients and we have openings in hygiene left and right," we'll be a little more aggressive on this then. But if you
Right.
tell me, "Hey, I can't even get a patient in for 9 months for hygiene and we're short a hygienist," maybe you're not as aggressive on those.
Right.
But so
Gotcha.
it's not an exact science, but it is just kind of look, you're accepting these rates on PPO insurances anyways. You have to file a claim. You're getting downgraded. You're getting write-offs. They're in between you and your patients, and you're writing 40% off on your treatment. Well, at least give these guys somewhat of a decent deal,
Yeah.
so that
Yeah.
they'll.
Sure. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, patients who are fee for service, most of the time you want to work with them as best as you can. And, it's usually higher than what you're going to get from a PPO plan. I mean, some of these PPO plans out there are paying peanuts still to this
Yeah,
day. So,
yeah,
yeah, and looking at the monthly price, I mean, just at the fees you have it set at, not saying that those are the fees every practice is going to want, but if we do the math on that, what is that coming out to? $106 for the exam and the bite wings, and then
yeah.
you have the cleaning. So it's what is it? My math is a little one
Here, I'm gonna make it real easy.
70, one 173. Okay, yeah. 177, there you go. Yeah, I mean 177 I think is a fair amount, especially for a practice like you said that, that has tons of openings at that point,
Yeah,
like, and the patient's only paying $26 a month. I mean, it's a
yeah.
no-brainer. But cool. Well, thanks for explaining that, Paul, and answering that member's question.
Sure.
And you said you're going to be able to give this to some of our members who reach out to
Yeah.
use this tool.
Yeah, I'm happy to share it with you, and then you can build your plans and save them if you want, even if you're running it yourself. It's a good tool to use to look at your fees and pricing.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at the next question from our members. We have here, let's see, are there any membership plan payments? Uh, are there any? Does it? I think I messed up on. Hold on. I don't know what I wrote here.
You were saying about processing, is there any that membership
Membership plans that do
process
the payments
payment?
for you. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so our next question, Paul, from one of our members is, are there any membership plans that actually process the payments for you? So dental office managers don't have to be all stressed out, like, I got to post this and do this and process that. So are
Yeah.
there any out there? I believe Dental Menu does that, but why don't you just
Yeah.
give us a little expertise on that?
Yeah, we do that. A lot of them do that. The thing, really, the differentiators between the third-party softwares is some of the third-party softwares process the payment and then they remit that back to you. So your patient would actually get charged from a third party. The third party collects the money and then they remit it back to you. With ours, what we do is we spend about an hour with offices. So if you want help coaching through this and stuff, we can help you with that. And then, we build a landing page and stuff. I'll just sign somebody up here and show you how it works. So if we came in here, and you guys might be doing this up front. I don't know if you'll sign up Donald Trump, but you'll sign somebody up. So if you sign up a patient here and they decide, you're helping them, they want to come in every 6 months and add fluoride. What happens with the software here at the checkout process, we actually set up a merchant account, Kyle, for the practice. So the practice owns the merchant account, the business name and everything else, but our software is engineered around it. So the patient will come into the online sign up. They'll put their information in here. It's all PCI compliant. It's going to grab the credit card information and all that kind of stuff. And it'll encrypt the credit card right here. So you'll grab the credit card from the patient or they'll enter it in here. They'll put their information in here. And what's really cool about, I think, I would want this with our system, is as soon as you hit submit on the software, it charges them whatever the charges are today, and it sets up the recurring every single month. You can do it annually if you want to. You can do it semi-annual, so you got some options there. But it actually, the charges happen automatically in the software, so office managers don't have to chase it, but it happens through that merchant account. So on the credit card statement from the charge will show up from the practice. So if your practice was ABC Dental, on their credit card statement, it'll actually show $34 from ABC Dental, so that they're not calling. Like, a lot of people get confused. You use a third party and then they're like, hey, what's this charge from so-and-so?
All
Or
right.
they'll refute the charge because they don't even know who the charge is from. So it'll do all the automation and charge everything automatically, but it's going to happen through the merchant account so that the practice has full disclosure of what's going on and full control of that money flow versus having a third party, which is great to help you, but now you got another third party in between you and your patient and your payments. That's what you don't want.
Yeah. So Paul, this part of the process is sort of like set it and forget it, right? Once you go
Correct.
through this process, the software will automatically charge the patient's credit card, and then on the patient's credit card, a receipt or a statement, it's actually going to come up with the name of the practice.
Correct. Yep. Yep. But it'll just be all automated. Even if a patient, if we build a brochure, they sign up with their phone with the QR code. As soon as they enter that in, again, it's all PCI compliant. It's going to encrypt this credit card so that it can be stored legally, which sometimes we see office managers, have a binder or a Google Doc. You don't want to do that with credit card information. You're so worried about HIPAA, you forget that there's some compliance with the credit card. So yep, as soon as it hits submit, it's going to charge them every day. Today's January 10th. So February 10th, they'd get a charge again at $34 and it just automatically go on.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, that's one of the things I like about you guys is it's kind of set it forget it. When we went over the webinar last time, where you were kind of going through things, it makes it very easy and time consuming. I'm sorry, it makes it very easy and less time consuming for the office manager. And I mentioned this last time too. It's like dental office managers have so many things on their plate and so many tasks to do and complete in a single day. This kind of simplifies it and just takes one less thing for them to have to do. So
Yeah.
awesome.
Sure.
All right. So I mean, this kind of answers that member's question. Are there any membership plans that do the payment for you? And Dental Menu does, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
Cool, cool. All right, so let's move on to our next question. So our next question is, how do you keep track of membership payments?
Yeah. So good question. So there's a lot of questions around the payments and what do I do with them? How do I set them up in the practice management software? How do I know if somebody's on it? That kind of stuff. So in the actual software, if you're using our system here, it will give you, actually, let me minimize this one. I can pull it over. There we go. Anytime you look up a member here on the software, you'll be able to look up a member here. We just signed up Donald Trump here. So you can see everything with their account right here, all their payment settings. So you can update the credit card, change the date or the frequency, or you can drill down here and you can actually see, why he was charged 59 bucks. Here's the breakdown, all that kind of stuff. So as charges go through, you're just going to have this running tally of what they've paid. We even have a patient portal if you want to let patients kind of log into that. That it kind of ties into the accounting, which I think is probably a little more what they're asking about is, that's great. You have a software that's doing the auto charges, but these charges are hitting my account real time. So today, February 10th, Donald Trump, I get 34 bucks. It doesn't say Donald Trump. I just get $34 in my account. What am I supposed to do with it? And then I get, the next day, Kyle, he has perio, so his charge is 62. So you get all these random payments kind of coming in. And we have some reports and stuff, but there's a really cool way to handle this kind of stuff. And so if we look at, I'm going to go through two methods. Uh, if you're running it yourself, and this is what most office managers are probably doing something like this, Kyle. This is what we call our standard reconciliation, and it's kind of a pain in the butt, but if you're running it yourself without us, or you just kind of have to do it this way. So I want to show this way so that if people don't want to engage with us, there's at least some value on the call here of how to handle it. So basically, anytime revenue hits your bank account, you have to put it somewhere on the ledger. And so what do I do with the payments? How do I keep track of them? Well, you're going to be putting that payment on as a credit for Donald Trump. So on his ledger, you got the $30 that hit. Well, now you have a credit balance. I see office managers leaving these credits on, which is a big no-no because, you got Susie who's putting these credits on. Well, she's gone for a week, and now Amy comes in. She doesn't really know what's going on. It's like, oh, you got a credit of $60. We can use that for your filling today. And now all of a sudden that credit gets used. The filling's bad. So don't leave a credit on there. You're going to have to create a fake procedure code called membership plan, a 999, just make up a code, apply that to the collection so you can bring this balance back to zero. Again, this isn't ideal because if you have 100 membership patients, this starts to be pretty cumbersome, but this is, if you run it yourself, this is kind of what you have to do. Then when a patient comes in, Donald comes in, he actually gets his exam, x-rays, cleaning. There's balance created here because you actually did work. The challenge is on the other side of the ledger, you're not getting a payment from a patient. You're not getting a payment from insurance. So the only thing you can do is adjust the collections off. You're going to have an included membership services adjustment code. You're going to have to make that code. You're going to have to adjust the exam, x-rays, cleanings off on the collection side to bring the balance back down to zero. Does that kind of make sense, Kyle, with this process?
It does, yeah. Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. So I would make a code, a generic code, whatever I'd like, in my practice management software. And that would be, the description would say membership plan, right?
Right.
And then I would make an adjustment description code. Well, it's not really a code, but just a description for an adjustment. And that would be for included membership services. And then just, yeah, it balances out. This makes perfect sense. This kind of answers our other members' question, which was like, how do you post this? How do you post to the account and adjust off treatment that's covered?
Yeah, so a lot of, we have offices that run this process in our software. Basically, you'd set up a discounted fee schedule with the discounts on treatment, and then you can have some of these adjustments even happen automatically depending on what practice management software you're using. So when a patient signs up, you're going to put them on there. One of the challenges, and I don't know if anyone asked this question, but one of the challenges is also, how do I keep track of whether they've gotten their first cleaning or their second cleaning when they're due for renewal? And this method gets really messy. One of the issues with this method is your collection production doesn't match. So if you're using any analytic tools or pulling any numbers out, your KPIs are screwed up because you're collecting here, but you're adjusting here, when really this opens up office managers to fraud. Because anytime you have bank statement deposits that don't match collection production in bank statements, that's poor accounting. No other business outside of dentistry would ever account for anything like this because it's terrible. Like it's bad accounting. And so it's also hard because you might accidentally adjust. Maybe some of the listeners here can be like, oh, I got chewed out because I accidentally adjusted off of patient services and they weren't active anymore, but I didn't really know because people didn't put payments up here and it was hard to keep track of. And I had one the other day that joined a DSO, and she said, my first meeting with the DSO, I got my butt chewed because they said my adjustments were much higher than any of the other participating offices in this DSO. And I went back to the office feeling like crap. And it wasn't until I realized we had 200 membership patients and I was adjusting off 400 exam cleaning x-rays per year. Well, when I went back, I said, how many of these other offices in the DSO are running membership plans? And they weren't running membership plans. And it took her a few months to figure out that her adjustments really weren't sky high. But,
Mm,
the regional manager was just kind of cranky and like, Kyle, what the hell are you doing? Like your adjustments are way out of whack compared to the other offices in the group. You need to get those in line. That's what a regional was telling her. And it's because of how the accounting was done on the membership side of things.
gotcha.
So what we really recommend doing is not running it this way. We recommend running it this way, which this is one of the things our software does, is we set up a practice membership account for the practice. It's a separate account. The practice still owns the money, but as the monthly payments are being made, instead of putting a credit on the ledger and then a fake production code, we have this unearned revenue sitting into this account. We don't release anything to the operating account. So the office manager is not dealing with 100 micro deposits throughout the month if they have 100 patients. They don't
Mm,
worry about Donald Trump's $30 and Kyle's $38 and Paul's $52. Like all these payments, it sucks. And so as an office manager, you don't even want to offer monthlies because of the issues there. So all of that revenue accrues in this account. And then when you provide services, you do an exam cleaning x-rays, you're going to walk that patient out. There's going to be a claim or a receivable created. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up an insurance plan, not a discounted fee schedule. You kind of want to network with yourself. We're setting up a full-blown insurance plan. When a patient signs up, you assign them to the insurance plan in Eagle, Soft Dentrix, Open Dental, whatever you're using. The discounted treatment, crowns, fillings, root canals, that'll be the fee schedule in the insurance plan. But your included benefits are not free. And so we're going to take the reimbursement amounts that you determined you want to be paid. Those are going to actually go in the insurance plan as well. So these services aren't free. They're 77, 50, and 50, or whatever you decided. Those are going to go into this insurance plan as amounts that need to be paid when services are used. So what happens is you walk the patient out. The patient portion is zero, just like it is with any other insurance company. They don't owe anything, but somebody's got to pay for these services. You're not going to file a claim to an insurance company. The patient's not going to pay for it. But what happens is we do have integrations with most of the practice management softwares. You walk the patient out in Dentrix. You pre-appoint them out 6 more months. And then what happens is we grab all that information and we create a claim. And at the end of the day, when you have Delta Dental, here's your outstanding claims. Aetna, here's your outstanding claims. Our membership program, here's the outstanding claims. Instead of having to do all this big cumbersome process, you actually just jump in here at the end of the day, you hit claims, and anybody that's been walked out of the software is going to show up right here. And you just say, hey, I want to be paid for Lonnie and Josh, $275. You hit submit. And what it does is it automatically will create a report for you right here, basically an EOB report, but it automatically pings this account. It transfers revenue. You'll get an EFT transfer from your membership account. It'll actually transfer revenue to your operating bank account, just like an EOB, transfer from an insurance. And then it tells you, here's how much was deposited into the bank account. Here's the patient, here's the service, here's the provider. And then you're going to actually enter collections to offset the production based on them actually receiving services. So the doctor's bank statement cash matches the cash in Dentrix, matches the production in Dentrix. There is no adjustment. There's no way you can get accused of fraud because it matches. Everything matches. And so it's like,
yep.
doctor, there's your cash in your bank statement. That matches your daily cash in Dentrix. That matches your production. And if you are paying providers on collections, your hygienist gets credit. Your associate doctor gets credit for them seeing that patient that day. And now your daily collections coming out of your analytics software also matches real time. So it's a way cleaner, better way to run it when you do it this way. You're not
Yeah.
keeping track of monthly payments. All you're doing is when a patient comes in, You're looking up the patient. You're saying, hey, is Donald Trump still active? You're saying, yep, he's still active. He's eligible for these benefits. You walk him out of Dentrix. We grab all that stuff. If you don't have the integration, let's say you have Practice Works or there's a few we don't integrate with, you actually come in here and say, hey, Donald got exams, x-rays, cleanings. You'd log those, hit submit. It resets the benefit eligibility. So that's if you don't have the integration. And then again, it would automatically create that claim. You'll notice we've got Donald right here now because he received services.
Wow. Okay. So I mean, yeah, this makes a whole lot more sense than having to create a code and then create an adjustment description, then have to go through all that. So all the all the office manager has to do is set up an insurance plan in Dentrix or Eaglesoft, and then give that patient this membership insurance plan, right?
Yep.
And then enter in the procedures, check them out, and then at the end of the day, the payment goes through.
Day, just come here and hit the claims, clear out whoever you want to clear out, and then payment comes
And
across. So you'll have an EOB statement basically. If there's 4 people on it, you'll have a deposit with 4 people, and it'll tell you exactly how to enter that deposit into the patient's record so that you're not adjusting things to zero.
super easy.
And if they come in at 7 months, they're still active. You see them, you walk them out, you just pre-appoint them back out 6 more months. You're not keeping track of did they get their first cleaning, their second. No, as long as they're active, and the software will tell you if they stop paying, it'll tell you to remove them from the insurance plan. As soon as they sign up, it tells you to add them to the insurance plan. But from a standard operating procedure, you're setting the monthly amount you want to be paid, right? So do the onboarding. You got to get paid $34 a month. You're setting the reimbursement amounts for the claims. And then obviously you're never downgrading a claim or denying a claim. I mean, you're hitting one button and you're moving the money across.
It's kind of like you're submitting a claim anyway. Except you're not having to go through the whole process of send it to insurance and hope that it's covered and get paid peanuts, right? So at least you
hire Mary, you hire a new person into your practice. It's business as usual. So when you run your reporting, whether you're using Practice by Numbers or Dental Intelligence or your own reporting, well, you're pulling out your numbers for your provider reports. How much do I need to pay my associate doctor? Well, the collections are recorded when they should be. So it's just business as usual. You can compare Delta, Aetna, and your in-house plan because you're recording revenue when it should be recorded. And so we're trying to get a really clean standard operating procedure that's not this weird thing outside of your daily task anyways. And that's what this process does for you.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. All right. Well, Paul, that you answered all of our members' questions, and very, very detailed, very, very thorough. So I appreciate you coming on here today.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. And we're happy. I mean, you want to reach out, we're happy to help you. One of our services too, Kyle, is if you go with us, we do remote in and set everything up in your practice management software as well. So we go through the pricing, we set all that up, we set up your brochures and build those and print them. We set up your landing page, we price everything out, then we'll set up the practice management software, connect the integration, and then do training with the team. So it's very full service, but even if your members don't want to sign up with us, they've got a few questions, we're always happy to help. We're very open with our info and our tools, and we want you to be successful with your plan. Even if for some reason we're not a good fit, you can still use us as a resource.
I appreciate that, Paul. And guys out there, just want to let you know, if you're not aware yet, that Dental Menu is a sponsor of our community, and they are offering a $50 gift card for each demo that you complete, or the option of a Lululemon belt bag. So if you like the Lululemon belt bag, you can put that on, and once you complete the demo, you'll have that as an option. And further, I wanted to mention to our group members here that if you have any more questions, I want you guys to submit the questions to the group. We're going to be doing a lot more educational videos like this in our community, and so I want you guys to be putting those questions out there so that I can search for answers and bring on experts like Paul here from Dental Menu. So Paul, again, thank you so much for coming on here today. I appreciate you taking the time out.
Hey, thanks so much, Kyle. Thanks for having me on.
Yep. Take care, guys, and we'll see you soon. Bye.